The Humphreys are a Christian family that live in the suburbs of Warri City in Nigeria. They are acquaintances of the Morgans, who not only reside in the same neighborhood, but also attend the same church. Their children are close pals. Simeon is loved by his parents for his brightness and excellent academic performance, traits that have gotten him in trouble more than once. He was caught explaining to Cynthia in church what condom is, as he was taught in school.
They taught you this in school, and you are joining, and you are here listening to this. Eh? You are joining this in church. Come.
This led both of them, as well as their parents, to the pastor's office for resolution. Both parents were disappointed at their kids' behavior, but the Humphreys more so, claiming that Simeon's reprehensible behavior is a clear indication of poor parental home training.
Children are funny at times. No matter how you train them, they tend to catch you off by surprise.
Me? This kind of surprise counts me out.
Mama, see, as Pastor rightly said, I don't approve of their actions, but children will always be kids.
Is that the way you train your children? You! The next time I see or hear this rubbish again, you will know the kind of mother I am. You will see the other side of me. Pastor, thank you for everything.
Madam, excuse me. Confess. Brother Morgan, you have to be prayer.
15 years had gone by with lots of changes in everyone's lives. The Humphreys relocated to another state, thus breaking every semblance of ties with the Morgans. Not for both kids though, who are now young adults. Their friendship remains strong, even with a romantic undertone. Simeon is a corps member serving in the same establishment where Cynthia works as a financial administrator. Their same work environment gave them ample opportunity to foster their relationship the more, though without the knowledge of both parents. Cynthia brought home her sweetheart, Simeon, for parental approval. She was disappointed instead. Her parents were initially warm-hearted towards their future son-in-law, but vehemently disapproved of his person on learning about his true identity. He is one of the Morgans.
The cathedral by the main market?
Yes, sir. That same one, sir.
Hold on. Your daddy used to drive Benz 230 green color.
Yes, sir. That is it.
Thank you, sir. Just feel relaxed. Excuse me. I'll be back shortly.
They maintained their age-long sentiment that Simeon was not properly trained from childhood. Hence, he is not suitable for their daughter.
I thought he was a responsible guy until he revealed his identity.
But that was the same stupid boy that was teaching her to use condom some years back. Only God know how many more guests he must have taught her to use condom since last time we saw him.
And the one he used himself? Jesus Christ. I can't believe I'm hearing this. Mommy, Daddy, you both can't be serious.
Never changes his spot.
We are just serious. And that guy is not good for you. Jeez. Daddy, it wasn't what you thought.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Simeon is well aware of Cynthia's parents' disapproval, as they've made him know in no uncertain terms. The lovers are presently in a sea of confusion, as their relationship is precariously hanging in the balance. Simon's parents are not in the know about his relationship with Cynthia, and they can't with confidence bank on their approval. Lydia, what is the way out for these lovebirds?
Okay, so let's get down to what we need to discuss. First of all, I think I have a slight issue with the teacher, the children teacher. When should you not tell your pastor? When should you handle something just amongst you and the child? Because the children trust their children teacher, sometimes even more than they trust their parents. So if at everything they do, you have to call their parents, call pastor, call everybody, we're going to groom a set of children I don't trust anymore to talk to. So how should teenage or children teachers use their discussion in handling issues, Reverend?
The teacher was obviously ignorant. He has forgotten about, I wouldn't know whether it was taught psychology. I wouldn't know whether it was taught individual differences. Otherwise, he should have known that those children, they were simply playing on what they know best, which of course may be wrong. It was left for him to say, no, my dear, okay, this thing shouldn't have been, okay, you are taught this, okay, this is used, but it's not used by people, it's used when you are married, when you're of age. Because God frowns at, so that's what you should have done. But I wouldn't know whether the teacher is or was a Christian. He was kind of this Premogopak teacher with a cane. Why dare you start talk about this one? What's the secret about this thing so what you talked about? So he should have been able to settle the case right there, educate them, correct them, and children would have got confidence as their teacher. Because most learners or people, students, they think that whatever their teacher says goes.
Yes. Okay. Just still on what he's saying. He talked about individual differences and a lot of psychological stuff. We have children teachers in church that are just children teachers. There's no other department for them to go to. So should there be a special qualifications for our children and teenage teachers? Should there be something that pastors should look out for before handling? Because you're a mother, oh, this one has 5 children, let her just be a children teacher. That's how it happens most times.
Okay, for children, children's church or children's ministry, it's a ministry, right? It's a ministry. We many times look down on it, like, oh, the children, so that we can pay attention
to the adults,
to the service, the main service, and what pastor is saying. So just put the children off somewhere where we can have our peace, at least for the next 3 to 4 hours. But children's ministry is a ministry. There's a calling there. It's not just for everyone. Right? I would advise that pastors interview, prospects, people who want to be part of the children's ministry, not just anybody, right? You don't just put anybody there. Know the person's passion, have a talk with the person, have an interview with the person, and know where this person is coming from, right? There's a children's ministry coordinator also, right? Which he should have also brought into the picture. Right? So
before you went over to the pastor,
before you take it out to your pastor. So the person just jumped protocol and just went straight to the pastor. So I think for children's instructors or children's church teachers, they should be trained. They have training. They have monthly trainings where when issues like this come up, what do we answer? There are questions like that. If a child asks you, who created God? How do we answer this question? So such things should come up during their meetings, their trainings, as in trainings prior to their Sunday meetings. Yeah. To tell them, when such things come up, how do we then they train up? Okay.
I think that's important. In addition to what you have just said, the teachers should have, if possible, enough teaching of psychology, child growth and development. If they are not exposed as in secular education, then the weekly or the monthly training should bring out things. So that they will know how to handle. You cannot give up what you don't have.
Yes, that's true.
The importance of children ministry cannot be overemphasized. Pastors should put the children according to their ages. They want to 0 to 5, 6, or in the normal school. You don't put one 6-month-old child in a primary one. Talk about Christ. Similarly, that should be done in our churches. Put according to their ages, and they'll be able to learn according to their level.
Yeah, they should be. Okay. Now let's talk to African parents. You are both parents, and we have a lot of parents watching. In fact, should you at all even Jesus does not bring up our sins? Should you not be like Jesus to the lives of those people? Should we at all in the first place? And if we have to, when it's too much for African parents to, accelerate the past sins of their children, Reverend?
I wouldn't know whether the little boy committed any sin anyway. Maybe he committed sin of ignorance, of only trying to say what he has learned without knowing the implications. And that's very pronounced in our criminal system. But I think parents should learn to understand that their days are gone. That, see, culture is not static. What we have now is different from what we had even 5 years ago. So there's no need bringing it up, because that will run down the personality. The ego of the child will be run down. Learn to forgive, so if there was an offense, and be hopeful that the child is learning from one side to the other. As he grows older, all is being equal, he will be wiser. And I think that will solve the problem.
Okay. Pastor CJ, now, sincerely, are there times maybe your girls, are there times that they've done something and you said again, no? Like, I think you said again is even a subtle way of, bringing up past issues. Are you tempted to bring up past issues, and how do you handle those kind of situations?
Yes, we do. Most parents do. I think all parents do. It's most of the times it's reflex, okay, right? So it's not like you intentionally want to bring up the past, but you just see something. Hey, I had corrected you on this before, and I told you that the next time you do it, I'm going to spank you. Now come for your spanking. So when we do those things, we just many times not to torment the child, but to bring the child into remembrance that you had been one before. I scolded you. I didn't punish you. But I told you I was going to punish you if you do it again, and now you don't again. So the child understands that, yes, I deserve this punishment, and would not want to do it again. So it's
so when at least at this point they're doing it again. What about when they're doing something totally different and you just bring it as a side gist, as a side?
No, that's not okay, right? Even scripture tells us that love does not keep record of wrongs, right? Love believes the best, So in believing the best, you can't keep on bringing up things that are totally out of what happened.
So I feel like you should tell the camera this. Like I think you should keep a stern face. This is very important to us. Sternly tell parents that they should not do this, please.
Right. Love believes the best, right? Love does not keep record of wrongs. Love does not even take note when it is hurt, when it is offended. That's what scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians 13, from verse 1 to 13. So we should have that in mind when we are raising our children. Right? There are things that when we were also growing up, we said, when I have my own family, I will not do this, I will not do this, I will not do this. But now we're in the same shoes, and we're trying to do the same things that our parents did, which we didn't want. So you don't do to others what you don't want others to do unto you. So we should be able to look at our children and correct them appropriately, not without cause. When you're correcting a child, you should know to what extent you should correct the child and to what extent you should hold back. Because a child you keep correcting on and on, the child will one day ask you, Mommy, Daddy, do I ever do anything that is right?
Yes. That becomes an issue. Okay, Reverend.
Yes, that's true, because we talk about, there was a funny story of a father who always flogged a child. He's broken the plate. And then one day the father did. And the son said, let us go and flog Daddy. But that time. So, parents, please, capitalize on the strength of your child, not on the weakness. We need not, we should not, we must not remind them of their past failures. Let's be optimistic that they are growing. As they are growing, yes, my dear, you can do better. Yeah, that's good. You can. That will motivate. That will be the impetus to good development. Okay.
Parents they do a lot of things that they do in the interest of their children. At least that's what they think. So especially when it comes to choosing a spouse and accepting the spouse you've chosen, they want you to be happy. So how do we deal with when a parent says no to a spouse that you bring I beg your pardon, to the house?
The watchword is patience. Thus I'm of age. The Bible says, honor your parents, that your days will be what?
Long.
Will be long and better. So that does not mean that a father, a mother, or parents should bring their children to a point of where they got to commit sin. There should be a coming in between. When a father tells you, I don't like this person, like the father of that was saying, no, your son, it's not the Morgans, no. two of them should go back. That's the young girl and the young man should go and look unto God and spend time to pray. The watchword is patience. Patience. Pray. If God has a hand in it, it will come to pass. Remember, 1,000 years like a day in the sight of God. Many of us are coming to impatient. We want it now, no. Life does not. There's time for everything.
Okay. Time for everything.
Yeah.
No, there was a time we had a woman on the show, and she said she waited for 8 years for her parents to agree. We need to talk about that. I don't know if that constitutes patience, but when we come back on the break, we will talk about that. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Decisions. We've been talking for a while now about parents and disciplining children and how to accept discipline and all of that. In case you've missed the conversation, you could go on our YouTube channel, which is showing on the screen right now, to follow up the conversation there, so you could have a fuller knowledge. And if you need to talk to any of our deli brands personally, some of their contacts are also showing on the screen. They would love to hear from you and chat with you one-on-one. Okay, just before we came back, I was saying, before we went on the break, I was saying on how someone had to wait for 8 years, and this is not a young person, so she's been married for like 25-30 years. She had to wait for 8 years for her parents to agree to her getting married to her husband right now. I don't know about that, but she deserves some accolades. That's a lot of waiting to do. So Reverend was talking about patience. How long? I mean, 8 years. I don't know about that, but Reverend CJ, what do you think?
Okay. Patience is key, right? The Bible says, they that know their God do not make haste, right? So if the parents are saying, no, we don't support this relationship, we don't support this intending marriage, I believe that the people involved, involved should be able to respect their decisions, right? And if they feel that, okay, I need to go about this, or maybe I have a prompting that this is what I should be doing, there's a place of prayer, right? There's a place of prayer. But if the parents are saying, I don't want you people together anymore, I don't want to see you people together, I believe that they should remain friends, right? Friends, and respect the decisions of their parents, right? The decision may not be that good, right? For my own experience, my parents didn't want it, right? They said no. In fact, there was a no, right? But I didn't push it. So you don't have to push it. You don't have to insist that, no, I'm old enough, I'm a grown up, I want to get married. Maybe if I don't see this one, if I don't get married to this person, somebody else will not come. And I just told myself that if this is the will of God, this is what God wants me to do. If my parents are saying I should wait, and then I wait. There's no hurry. Right? I didn't even know this person until later on in life. So if they're saying I should wait. And I waited, and then afterwards they saw my not pushing anything, I wasn't coming in, and then one day they'll call you and ask you, how far? That person's still there, you understand? So I think they should respect the decisions of the parents, no matter how ignorant it may seem, and then go to the place of prayer and even go and seek God and even find out what is God's will concerning this. It may just be their passions. It may just be themselves. Oh, I like this person. We've known since we're small. That's not enough. To insist. So just maybe it may even be God even coming in and even saying, calm down, hold on, this is not it. So by the time they give themselves that gap, and sit back and pray about it individually. Okay. Right, individually, not that they're praying to you, because individually.
That's seek the face of God together,
No, individually first. Individually first.
But these guys are already in a relationship, so telling them to go back and be friends.
Remember, the Simeon guy is 7, right? Yeah. And once he's done with his service, he's going to be going back home.
Okay.
So they're not going to be together forever.
Same town, yeah.
And he has years ahead of him. He's just 7. Right? I can't remember seeing anybody who was 7 and was getting married at the same time, except you were really advanced in age. But these people are young people, right? Almost just almost the same age range. So he has years ahead of him. You take out
So
time,
give it
you
time.
know, and give it time, and maybe something else comes out better. For him.
Reverend, you are an older parent.
We cannot underscore the place of patience, not to use the word endurance, the place of patience in the whole thing. In the first place, are they led of God? They are being led by their own feeling. Because as men are led by the Spirit, are the sons of God. In the relationship of God, has God said to them become husband and wife? If God has said so, they should relax. For the Bible says, the hearts of the kings are in the hands of God. Doesn't matter how long, even 10 years, 20 years, they should wait on the Lord. If they are convinced, beyond every reasonable doubt, that they are meant for each other. But what do you find today? Oh, I saw a girl. The girl, the face is this, the face is that. If tomorrow the face no more, what happens? Say, I will decide to it. Please, our young ones, let them be patient. Seek the will of God. Not God. This is what I want. God, sign. Sign on God. Quick. I'm in a hurry. I don't want to get to 10 years before 30 before I get married. No. Wait on the Lord. Has God said it? Shall it to come to pass? It may be long, but you'll never be denied.
Okay. Let's come from the parent angle. You
Yes.
are a parent. You are an advanced parent. You have children. Some of them have gotten married. Parents that have just been adamant. Some parents are not trying to. They don't hear from God. They're just trying. Probably the personal differences. They don't like the person their child brings. So how do you talk to parents? To calm down with their children and not, seek the face. I think parents can also do a seeking the face of God on their own part.
Sure.
So how do you advise parents to go about when their child brings a spouse?
Parents should pray. When my first son told me he was going to get married, I didn't ask who the girl, where, what I did was, my wife and I went into prayers. And I asked my son, what are the facts you have? What are you convinced that this is God's will for you? He told me yes. Tell me what God told you. He did. Because of the same thing. And I prayed, and after my prayers, I didn't see any hindrance in it. And I get it. I sponsored by the grace of God. So, but I said he must wait until I'm convinced that it's God's will. Not what I want. If you ask me, I will not even want myself to marry from that background. But when God says yes, I give up. Not me, but God.
So we said they should wait, they should pray,
Yeah.
they should not even continue the relationship. They should not do anything to disobey or disrespect their parent. So what are your final words on how to go about it? To the parent, to the should they call it third party? Is it too early to call it third party? Just your final words generally, Pastor CJ.
Okay, from the parents' angle, I would say that parents should not wait until their children are of the age to get married before they begin to pray for their children, right? Begin to pray for them right from when they're young, right? That they will meet good spouses, that they will meet people who are God-fearing, who are godly, who fear God, and who God wants or wills for their lives. They will not miss it. That's one prayer point. The parents should start praying ahead of time. So you don't wait for the day of battle before you now begin to prepare to buy your weapon. So you get these things ready ahead of time, firstly. And then when you are doing that and your children come with someone, you are praying. The Bible says that when you pray, right, you ask God for something. His intention, the intention at the end of your prayer is that your joy will be full. So you're not praying amiss. You're not just praying, okay, let it be that I'm praying. You're praying with the mindset that God has heard me and God's going to answer my prayer. So when your child brings that person, the first response is not to, oh no, this person is from this tribe, I'm not interested. The first question is, oh God, this person has come. This is what we have sought you for over the years. What is your say on this issue? And if the parents get confirmation that yes, this is the person for them, then go ahead. And if they have any reservations, they should also speak the truth in love, right? Not just give a verdict. Yes, a verdict that oh no, this person will never enter my house. This person will never get married to this person. So they should speak the truth in love and then explain to the child that okay, so this is what God is telling me, right? right? And if it is contrary to what you're saying, let us continue to pray until we come to an agreement, and trust God to come into it. For the parents also in bringing up their children, not when something happens in the future, you bring up something that happened many years ago. That was how you were in a couple of relationships that did not work. How sure are you this one is going to work? No, believe the best, and believe that yes, you want the best for your child, but believe the best for the child. The child is an adult now, just the way you also saw your spouse, your husband or your wife, and desire the person and got married to the person. This person also has, so don't play down on the person's emotions, and say, I'm the parent and it must be the way I have said it. So you need to come in and be friends with your children, so that even before they even bring a person, that this person I want to get married to, you already have all the information. So when it comes to you, it doesn't come to you as a surprise. So our parents should be there for their children, and bring them to yourself. Don't keep them afar from yourself when they get to that age and say, they're adults, they can take care of themselves.
Thank you very much.
Generally, there's no village, there's no city, there's no country where you have all the good men. There's no village where you have all the good women. It's a matter of adjustment, looking unto God. For they that look unto God will not be disappointed.
Thank you very much. We hope that you've learned and you've been able to get answers to the questions that you've been asking. If you still need someone to talk to, you could reach out to us in the studio. Our details are showing, and if you need to talk to any of them, we also have their details scrolling right now. Please do reach out to them. Say something, because you need to make the right decisions. There are people that would love to help you around here. Thank you for watching. If you have a story you want to share with us, something you want us to help deliberate in the studio, also send it to us. We'll be looking forward to having it. Thank you very much. We'll see you again next week. My name is Rachel B. again.